Hola, familia. It's great to have you here again. As always, I'm super excited and I consider it an honor to be in your space every single episode. Today, with me, I have somebody special. One of these people where, kinds of people where you meet them and you know them until one distinguishing conversation you have with them and it changes your life. And that's my story with the guest today. So, Inspired Impressions family, join me as I welcome Precious Obo to Inspired Impressions podcast. You're welcome, Precious.
Thank you so much.
It's
Thank
such
you.
an honor to have you.
Yeah.
I have to tell this backstory though. It took a lot to bring Precious here. Like we had been scheduling this podcast since February, right? I mean, how can somebody be that busy? He would say he's not busy, but I'm not going to tell you like the whole details around how we happened, but I'm happy that we are here. And
Yeah,
the
me
first
too.
question that I have for Precious is, what's your story? What's your journey?
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Precious
Hello.
Bo by name,
Welcome,
right?
Precious.
Anyway, back to my story. I think I'm just going to give more like a background of how it all started,
Please do.
right? I'm actually the last one, surprisingly.
Hmm.
Most people don't know that.
I feel
So
like you're giving the last born vibes. Look at the
yeah.
colors of his shirt.
Wow.
Joseph was okay. No, Benjamin was the last one, but
Okay.
his coat of many colors.
Anyway, I was the last born. I have
Yeah.
three siblings, two of my elder sisters and an elder brother.
Right.
Right. So I used to be this, the whole last born vibe. I used to be
Yeah.
very, very lazy. Like literally, everybody knew that. This guy is just lazy. He just
Right.
likes eating and doing everything and all
Mm-hmm.
that he gets.
Yeah.
So it got to the point that I was actually mommy's boy,
Hmm.
right? And while growing up, my mom never wanted me to go far. Like she just wanted me to be around because yes, I was the mommy's boy and all that. And it got to a point when I was about to leave secondary school.
Right.
We are actually based in Akwa Ibom State. I'm from Akwa Ibom. Anyway, it got to a point where we were about to write jam, and I told my dad, or I think yeah, I told my dad, I told him I don't want to school here in Akwa Ibom. I want to go somewhere far. And he was like, okay, Precious, where would you like to go? Like, where would you like to do your university and all that? I was like, okay, maybe I would like to go to the state that my elder sister is schooling at. Her name is Elizabeth, right?
Right.
So she was schooling at Ahmadu Bello University,
Okay.
Zaria,
Mm-hmm.
Kaduna State to be
Yeah.
precise. All right. So I told my dad, I was like, okay, fine, let's do this. Let's whatever you want to do, you're a man, right? So when I told my mom, she was like, over my dead body.
I know.
Yes, she rather prefers it that to be my brother that to
Hmm.
go and all that stuff. But anyway, so got to the long talk and all that. So when I went to the jam office to register and all,
Mm-hmm.
right, she followed me literally because she
She
wanted
did.
to be sure.
Very
She knows
persistent.
I'm a very stubborn boy.
Yes.
So luckily for me, the person that was supposed to register us was not available.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we had to wait, and she couldn't wait any longer. So she was just like, "Precious, make sure you put the right university and all." So when she left, yes, I was a very stubborn boy. And then
Yeah.
I chose Ahmad Bello University and I put it out there. Right. So after we wrote jam and everything, when she saw it, she was like, Precious, why? Why do you want to go somewhere far?
You broke your mom's heart.
Yeah, but I was this kind of person, like I always wanted to explore. I just wanted to meet new persons. And I
Yeah.
felt that okay, I was lazy quite all right. So I was in my comfort zone. And I felt I wouldn't have gotten to the level I am if I didn't make that decision. Because
Yes.
yes, it was a very hard decision, leaving all your friends,
Mm-hmm.
that feeling, right?
Yeah,
So
everything you know.
yeah, so finally, right, they agreed, and I went to Ahmadu Bello University studying electronics and telecommunication engineering.
Hmm.
Yeah, so in my other level, I was this very bright guy. Yes, very smart guy.
Yeah.
Coming up with very nice GPA and all that. Until that was the good part of the story, right?
Yeah.
Until something really bad happened. I think in my 200 level, at some point my dad fell very ill,
Yeah.
right? And as at then he was the sole provider of the family. My mom was just more like a housewife,
Support.
just support and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
she wasn't financially stable.
Mhm.
But every fund was coming from my dad, right? So unfortunately my dad fell ill and we lost him, I think in my 100 level second semester, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
That was in 2020. 2020 after the COVID whole break and all that.
2021.
2020 actually. I think I was in
Okay.
200, yeah.
Okay.
So when I lost my dad, right, at some point I was like, this cool thing, I'm just going to leave it because there is no way that we're going to get
Mm-hmm.
funds for
Mm-hmm.
school fees,
Yeah.
taking care of me and all that. But I was like, no, I've come this far. I don't want to go back, right? So I thought to myself, okay, what exactly can I do? My mom suggested that, okay, fine, precious, come back, right? We will write jam again so that
Mm.
you'll be close by, you get.
Yeah.
But yes, as the stubborn guy, I said, oh no, I'm still going to go.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, we had this friend of my dad, and he was a support system at the initials, right?
Yeah.
He helped me get a specific scholarship, and that was actually what helped me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But while being in school, the school fees was being paid, but I had to survive, right?
Yes.
So I thought to myself, what exactly can I do? And I looked within me, right? I was this lazy ass guy. I literally had no skill sets, literally nothing. So I was like, Omo, I need to do something, right? I need to do something. I need to learn something. So, fortunately for me, I had this friend of my sister, right? He was a photographer, and he met my sister. Oh, my sister met him. I was like, my brother wants to come and learn something at your studio and all that. So I met him and we had conversation. Before you know it, I went to the studio. I started learning photography. Living from hand to mouth and all that stuff. So it all happened that way,
Mm.
right? And I was like, this thing, because I was this kind of person that I had friends who were ballers.
Yes.
You get, some of
I
my
get
friends are
that.
ballers
Yeah.
kind of analogy, right? So I had friends who were doing so much well, right? Obviously they had support system from their
Yes.
parents.
Yes.
I was like, okay, fine, these guys are doing well. It simply means that my life and theirs are not going to be the same,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Although, because I started, involving myself in other activities just so I can earn, right?
Yes.
It affected my academics, right? I
Mm.
went down from that bright student to
Yes. Yes.
someone that didn't really care so much about education, right? So it's not
Mm.
that bad.
School na scam. You join the
Yeah,
gang.
yeah, that's basically it,
Yeah.
honestly. And I had to try all possible means. Then at some point I got introduced to this online money making stuff, right? I literally tried so many things, right? I cannot really list them out because some of them
You
are
are not
very
proud of it.
very embarrassing, right? But one of them was this stuff that most of you all know, affiliate marketing,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
all this bring two people, bring one people,
Yeah.
all this kind of thing. Yes, so they told me the registration fee was, I think at that time was about 60,000 naira, one
Right.
expert, yeah,
Yeah.
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 So I was like, oh, where am I going to get 60,000 naira from, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I was very, very desperate because I knew that if I didn't do anything, nothing's going to
Nothing is
change.
going to
You
change.
get.
Very true.
So I now thought to myself, okay, let me use like 2 3 months to gather up the money, and I did that. I like I said, I involved myself in other activities. I was too intelligent as at then,
Mm.
so I was helping my mates with their assignments
Mm.
and getting paid. You get, doing multiple other things and all that.
Yeah.
So I saved the money and I invested the money, right? So
Mm.
in my thought, I can still remember that very day when I had the money. I was like, I told the person that introduced me to the whole business, and I was like, I'm ready for this, right? But honestly, this is my last card. This is my, in fact, this is the last money I have in this entire
Your
whole.
life.
You get.
Yeah.
So I told him that, and he was like, okay, fine, do it. Then in the next, like, let's say 1 month or 3 months, you'll see returns. Fine and good. I decided to invest the money, and guess what? After like almost 3 months, I didn't get a single sale. I
Oh
didn't
my
make
God, that was not
any.
the story I was
I didn't
expecting.
make, like, crazy. I didn't make any money from it, and
Wow.
I was like, God, I beg. What have I gotten myself into? Right, because I was very desperate. I was trying so hard, right,
Mm.
just to see how I can juggle being a student, doing photography, doing
Yes.
other activities, and also doing this business and all that. So it was very, very hectic for me, right? So, and I thought to myself, okay, what else can I do, right? And although in the process of learning that affiliate marketing,
Mm-hmm.
I learned a couple of side skills, like
Yes.
digital marketing, SEO optimization, most of all those
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So I was learning them because yes, I was very, very interested in trying to make that sell. I think one of the hardest things like for you to do is to sell to broke Nigerians. No offense, guys.
Tell me
But
about it.
but it was crazy, because that whole affiliate marketing thing was, was a
Mm,
program designed for those guys who were looking for financial liberation.
yeah.
So just more like just imagine I'm trying to sell a course to someone else who is also struggling like I am. So you know how
Yes.
yeah, it
Yes.
was really difficult that way. So I it now dawned on me that if I want to really make money, I need to look out for people who have the money. I need to sell to the rich. I need to
Absolutely.
I need to provide solutions to
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
luckily
true.
for me, I learned those skills, right?
Yes.
Most of those digital marketing skills and all. So I thought to myself, okay, what can I do now, right? What
Mm,
can I do? So one of the first platforms that I leveraged as a then was Facebook, right? I went into Facebook because one of the organizers told me, okay, Precious, you're having issues with sales. Maybe the leads that you're looking to find are on Facebook. Go there and build something you get. So I went there, I started branding on Facebook, I started doing so many things, creating crazy content and all that. I got people, but trust me, none of those guys led to sales, right?
right.
Those guys were broke asses. I don't know if you've ever encountered,
Sorry to those people.
sorry, Facebook guys, but you understand. I've ever encountered, a couple of people on Facebook. They're very,
Yeah.
very difficult. More like most of them, I think one of the things I said was that, these Facebook guys are not serious. You get.
Mm, mm.
So I went into another platform. I tried X. X was very crazy. The algorithm was mad. I just had to run away.
Run for your
It
life.
wasn't the
They're
same
after
platform.
you.
Crazy.
Yeah.
At some point on X, right, I saw people were doing so well, and I saw people talking bad about them. I was like,
Mm,
I cannot deal with this stuff, right?
mm-hmm,
I cannot do this stuff. So
mm-hmm.
I went over to TikTok. On TikTok, they told me that you need to do videos, and I was using one phone. Oh God, if I remember that phone, that phone was really messed up. It was more like a
Right.
broken phone. You don't understand. so
Mm-hmm.
so I couldn't use that phone because the video and everything was very bad. Then at some point I attended one event, one masterclass like that, and I overheard someone talk about LinkedIn. And I can still remember his exact words. And he said something to me which changed my whole mindset and all. He was like, if you want to find, okay, let me try and remember exactly. He
Yeah.
said LinkedIn is a gold mine, right? And there are so many amazing people who are making so much money off the platform. You get, and at that time, right, it was still connected to affiliate marketing because yes, we were looking for leads, right?
Yes.
Leads are
Yeah.
basically people who buy your stuff and all
What you're
that.
selling.
So we're like, okay, on LinkedIn we have much more serious people. All right. So I came in on the platform on LinkedIn. I saw the platform. One of the first things that intimidated me was when I saw so many guys with PhD, so many guys with so much big certifications and all that. And I looked to myself, I'm just a 300 level young boy with zero experience and all that.
Yes.
How then can I fit into this space? Okay. So I saw someone. He was also a student at that then. His name is Emmanuel Duka, right? I think he was an engineering student, and I saw how well he was doing. He was making so much progress. I was like, Omo, if this guy can do it, then definitely I can do
I
it
can
too,
do it
right?
too.
So I just thought about, okay, how about I spend so much time on this platform? I set long-term goals instead of just looking for short-term goals and all that. So I started doing my rubbish on it.
Right.
Yeah, I started, posting relevant stuff and all that. I kept on pushing, I kept on pushing. As time went on, I learned a couple of things, the do's and don'ts, all those things you get. Before you know it, I started gaining like popularity,
Mm-hmm.
right? I got popular on the platform, but my bank account was not popular.
Oh my
Right?
God.
My bank account was literally red
Mm-hmm.
because yes, just as they usually say on the platform, likes and engagement do not really bring cash. What really brings cash is the value and people who are buying your services and all.
Yeah.
You get. So I now thought of, okay, let me try doing something different, right? And I looked into the people around me. I thought to myself, okay, what problems are they facing and all that? So it dawned on me that they were having so much problem with trying to build their personal brand on the platform.
Yeah.
And I had already figured out that part after multiple trials and errors, right? So I was like, okay, how about I create a package or something that I can use to help these people? Initially, I was like, okay, let me make it free. So I made it free. It was more like this training of a thing. So I did it and I saw that people came in and people were willing to pay. I didn't even put the price as at then. Right. I think the first money I made was 5,000 naira. One guy paid me. I'm trying to remember his name. Sha.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that was the first cash I made, and it was more like a very short one-on-one kind of call like that.
Yeah.
And trust me, I was just giving. I wasn't even saying something that was really that would made sense. I was just
Yeah.
talking, you get, because
Yeah.
I didn't know everything and all. So from there, I now understood that okay, a lot of people have issues with branding on the
Branding.
platform
Yeah.
because yes, they have their personal brands, they have their business brands, and LinkedIn is more like a platform where a lot of it's more like a corporate society,
Yeah.
right? So if you're looking for those people who are in the corporate world, then LinkedIn is the go-to place, right? So it dawned on me that my kind of audience are on the platform.
Yeah.
Right, so I started taking advantage of it. I started building, I started doing this, creating multiple packages, just trying to sell and deliver, the best I could, and all that, right? So it got to a point when I started making money on the platform, and I was very, very excited because it took me about 3 months branding on the platform, doing whatever I was doing on the platform before I could make a single dime,
Yeah.
right? So you should understand the level of intentionality that I put
You put
into,
into it.
trying to
Yeah.
build something. You get?
Yes.
So I did all that because I knew that if I do not do anything again,
Nothing is
nothing will
going to
happen. Yeah,
change.
nothing's going to change, right?
Yeah.
So and I saw my situation. I was like, my siblings cannot help me because all of them, all of us, okay, we have this none of my siblings are way older than me. I think my elder sister, she seniors me with 5 years. So all of us were just figuring out our lives,
Yeah.
right, when our dad left us. So everybody was struggling. Do you get? So
Mhm.
there was nobody that was well to do that was going to fend for me and all that. So I understood that part. And I also thought about my mom, right? She doesn't really have much, right? So I was like, I need to try as much as possible to support her and all, right? So I did all those things with all those, visions in my head. I pushed so hard, and finally everything clicked by the grace of God, right? So it got to a point where I started charging $1,000 for a service that I once charged like 20K or 5,000, 10,000 naira,
Wow.
right? All those
Wow.
things you get. So
Yeah.
the level of progress was so much, right? I had to stop doing photography because I wanted to focus full time on the online space,
Yes.
right? And that's how it all happened,
Oh my
right?
god.
Yeah,
You have a story. Like I can literally write a book. I did tell you before we started this podcast, I had a
yeah,
lineup of questions to ask you. You
yeah,
have answered all my questions. And now I'm out of questions. But honestly, your story is
yeah.
nothing short of inspiring, wholesome, and very alive.
Thank you,
You
thank
know,
you.
and why I'm particular about the word alive is
Mm,
you could see every single phase of life happening. It's
yeah,
not a fairy tale. It's not.
yeah,
I mean, the plot twist was too much. I would have thought that your big break came
yeah,
from the affiliate marketing. Not that
yeah,
it is wrong.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I guess that even if that did not give you the money that you wanted, it
yeah,
gave you the platform and the knowledge that you needed.
yeah.
That's where you said that you started to learn all the other
Digital marketing
digital
skills. Yeah,
marketing and
yeah,
SEO and all of that.
yeah,
And I think that is very profound. Like
yeah.
you have a process.
I
Really.
really saw you.
I know. When
Yeah,
you're relating with somebody at some point and then
yeah.
you're like, "Kai me, I understand." It got to one point I'm like, "Oh, this is shege, don't they pass my own?"
Wow. Shige Pro Max.
I know, but then
Yeah,
I guess it's safe to say that it is worth it, right?
yeah, definitely. It's
Yeah,
very
I
worth it.
mean,
Yeah.
okay, so one question I would ask, you have said this, but I want you to probably articulate it in very simple language is
Okay.
what life lessons, three life lessons that you have learned from your own life in these past years.
Okay. So first off, I would say resilience, right? Like I
Yeah.
said, right, it took me so much, like almost 3 months to make money, right? If at some point, right, for any other person, I think the person that have given up, do you get?
Mm,
Because I was doing this back to back and I was not getting results. Let me even shock you.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I had most of my friends, right, who were jokingly, they were like, telling me, guy, this thing is not worth it and all that
Oh
stuff.
my god.
There was this guy who said that you go take passive yet.
Oh my
So
god.
at that point, I was like, "Oh my guy, it's like I'm doing rubbish." Oh.
Hey.
There was this night I sat down and was like, I thought about my entire life, and I was like, I need to do something different. But for the fact that I saw other people making it, right,
Yeah.
it really pushed me forward. So
Yes.
resilience was just it for me, right? I was
Mm-hmm.
so resilient and all that,
Mm-hmm.
trying so much, trying so hard to just ensure that I do not give up. Another thing again is consistency.
Mm.
Consistency. This how let's say wise word that most people would say.
Yeah.
Most times they say something like if you try so hard and it's not working, try and try again. Like keep trying,
But
keep
it's so
trying. You
hard.
get, the whole concept was that I saw growth as a compounding effect. You get the little
Mm.
effort that I was
Mm-hmm.
putting as at then. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that they were
Mm-hmm.
adding up.
Yeah.
You get, they were adding up, and in future it's going to amount to something big. So I was consistent. I kept on showing on days when it was very bitter, literally bitter. Even with all the backlash from my friends and every other
Yes.
person,
Yes.
I thought to myself, I need to keep pushing.
Pushing.
You get,
Yeah.
so that was just it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency, resilience, consistency, and one other thing. I think I've used all of.
Stubbornness.
I like this stubbornness.
I guess that will pass for resilience, bro.
Yeah, I was this kind of person. I not grew.
And
I must
exactly.
make this money, and that
Yeah.
was just it for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just wanted to do something that people would see me and be like, okay, it's making money from a legit source.
Yeah.
Yes, at some point, I won't forget to mention. At some
Yes.
point, I had this opportunity to do all this Yahoo stuff, right?
Hmm.
Someone was like, "Precious, you don't too suffer."
The energy you put into this thing, if people half of it, in the other side,
Yeah, it was like the guy
right?
was Precious, you don't too suffer. Come make me press. And I was like, press, what be press? You just revenge, or let's say avenge our ancestors.
Oh my
You
god,
get, that's how the person
that's
put
not
it.
even funny. Oh.
Yeah, crazy, right? And I was like, my mom brought me up in a very, godly way that she
Mm-hmm,
was like,
mm-hmm.
you getting to see other people struggle just so
Yes,
that you can succeed is not how life should be,
yes,
right? It should
yes.
be that you are trying to help every other person and you're also doing something that is good.
Yeah.
So I stuck to that, right? I decided I'm not going to do anything scam. You get,
Mm.
like, I was this close to becoming a fraud star.
Oh Lord. Oh
You
my
get,
god.
but I just thank God too,
Yeah.
because God was really really helping me a
Mm-hmm,
lot in
mm-hmm,
that whole phase. So
mm-hmm.
that was just it. Those were the things that really helped me get.
Yeah.
And even to this point now, as I've grown, that guy who was doing Yahoo and all that, his life is nothing to tell home
Oh my
about.
god.
Honestly,
Oh my
his
god.
life is more like almost crazy and bad.
Mm-hmm,
You get,
mm-hmm,
bad things are
mm-hmm.
just happening, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's just every bad thing he has done coming back to
Coming
him. I
back.
get.
Yeah.
So that's just it for me, honestly. Yeah.
Wow. There's so much to take home from this your
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
honestly. There was one thing you said earlier. I know it's something that is commonly said, but when I'm relating it to how you said it speaks a lot to me personally, which is that if you don't do something,
yeah,
nothing will change. It's
definitely.
very, very important.
Yeah,
Very, very important.
definitely.
And another thing I can get from your story, right, is perspective.
Yeah.
So I was reading a book yesterday, School of Money by Dr. Emmanuel Lumide, and
Okay.
there was something that he talked about perspective when he was
Yeah,
defining money in the first chapter.
yeah,
And this story spoke to me a lot. A very rich man decided to take his kids to one part in one of these very poor countries, right?
yeah,
And they had all the wealth, but he wanted to just teach his son a lesson.
yeah,
And he was like, son, come, let me show you how poor people live. And
yeah,
so he moved from a mansion, he went to a house where he just live in a field, a hut and all of that.
yeah,
And they're all working
yeah,
farmlands. They don't even have bed. And after staying there for like a week or two,
yeah.
he came back home and then he asked his son, like,
Okay.
what did you learn?
Yeah,
Meanwhile, he had already told the son that I want to teach you how poor people, I want to show you how poor people live.
yeah,
And then his son said that I saw how poor we have been living,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was the exact opposite of what his father wanted to show him.
Yeah.
And what he meant by that is
Yeah.
he said he saw how people learned to be together, to work together, as opposed to him where
Yeah.
he's being served. He saw
Yeah.
what it
As a
meant
king.
for a
Yeah.
family to serve each other,
Yeah.
where they were serving, they worked together, they slept together.
Yeah.
They didn't need to all be in different rooms because they didn't even have a room. They were all in the
Yeah.
parlor bonding and all of that.
Yeah.
And to be like, to the father's surprise, he learns even better than what he expected him to learn.
Yeah.
And this was what Dr. Olumide was talking about when he was talking about perspective.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the same for you.
Yeah.
You had, it's because of the perspective of how you grew up
Yeah.
that you, in spite of the backlashes and all the clapbacks that you had
Yeah.
in your struggle, you
Yeah.
decided that, you know what, I'm going to stick to this. It's
Yeah.
either this or this. I'm not going to compromise.
Yeah.
And I think that that is very, very important.
Funny enough, right? It
Yeah.
didn't used to be this way,
Mhm.
right? Most of we who are Nigerians,
Yes.
there was this point that everything was doing well for our parents. Yeah, at
Yes.
this point when we were growing up,
Yes.
we were eating 3 square meals back to back. I was staying in an estate. My dad was working in an aluminum company. I was
Wow.
going to a private secondary school.
You came from
Yeah,
all of that.
like crazy, right?
Comfort.
Yeah, comfort. Like that's
Yes.
why I was like, okay, I was the last one. I was very lazy and all that stuff. So everything was going so well. So most of these, setbacks, I wasn't used to it.
Oh
Do you
my
get? So
God.
it was fresh. Do you
Yes.
get?
All the more reason to compromise.
Yeah, crazy, and it was more like from how I put it, from frying pan to fire, or
Ah, which fire? From frying pan to gutter.
exactly. So it was crazy like that. So I
Yeah.
wasn't used to
Yeah.
suffering and all that. Like literally, I think my school as at then was the best secondary school in my local government.
Yes.
You get, so it was very surprising for me how everything turned out to be,
Yeah.
and that's just the idea. So it really relates to what you said,
Yes.
perspective.
Yes.
I'd say that maybe per se God had to switch things up, and just so that I can get to see how life is from a poor man's perspective. You get,
yeah.
so that's just the idea. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And it has made you this resilient and strong person that you are.
Yeah.
I honestly applaud you. And I know
Yeah.
that many people that would hear your story too would also applaud you
Yeah,
and
thank you
be
so much.
encouraged. They
Thank you
will
so
be
much.
encouraged. So
Yeah.
one final question to end this session, because we're
Okay.
going to have another session,
All right.
is if your lived experiences
Okay.
wherein this had changed, do you think the outcome would also change?
I think honestly, I'm actually blank right now. Okay, but I get your question, right?
Yeah.
I feel like everything happens for a
For a
purpose, for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And God puts you in a situation whereby He knows that you can actually triumph, all right? Like He cannot put you in something that like give you a challenge that you'll not be able to break through and all that. So at some point, I feel if my dad hasn't didn't go and all that at that age, right? I don't think I would have, figured out some part of myself,
Life,
my
yeah.
potential and all that stuff. You get, I don't think I'd have become the man, because yes, I'm a
that
man
you
now.
are. Of course.
You get, so I don't think I'll become the man, right, that I am right now. So I feel at some point those things were all working for my good.
For your own good.
You get, so yes. So if at all maybe things were different, trust me, I'd have been very lazy. I don't think I would have been able to. In fact, the only thing I knew as at then was book.
Yeah.
Yes, was just book. You're very comfortable. Your parents are providing everything, and you just have one purpose: just go there and study. You get. So that was my only good side.
Yeah.
You get. I wasn't the hustler, right? So that's just how it was for me. And also at some point, I feel like it happened for the better, right? So because even at this point now, I've gotten to a stage where I was this guy who was always, bugging my sister who didn't really have much, right? So now I am now more like, should I say, the breadwinner of the family, right? So
you're not winning bread, yo. This one you're winning past bread, yo.
you get, so at this point now, even as the last born, I am supporting my elder sisters and supporting my mom, supporting my brother and all that. So it's something that when I look back, I'm always very, very thankful to God who has been faithful and all that. So that's just basically it.
I know. I mean, the Bible says that all things work together for good to them that are loved and called according to His purpose, right?
Yeah.
That's good. Even though personally for me, that's a very dicey question.
Yeah.
I always don't like to think about this question because as true as it is that if our lived experiences changes, it means our
Yeah.
outcome would also change. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily that the outcome would have been bad, but it's a matter of you don't know because that's not
Yeah.
what you lived,
Yeah.
right? So we should
Yeah.
just be thankful and
Yeah.
grateful for what we have now
Yeah. That's
because
just
you
it.
can still be a stubborn last one and still be successful. It's
That's academically, right?
yeah, and you just probably other things will teach you lessons,
Yeah,
right?
true, true,
Because
true.
anyway, maybe it's just my fail side saying, God, I beg, I don't want all. When there was this reel I saw where God in this 2025 take my name down from the list of your soldiers, I beg, I don't want to be
You know
soldier.
what, you
I
again?
swear. Anyway, but
Yeah, yeah,
when all is said and done, we're grateful for what we have now,
yeah,
where
yeah,
we are now, because
yeah.
whether we like it or not, it could have been worse. There are
Craziness,
many people
honestly.
that went through exactly what you went through and haven't come out on the other side strong. They're
Yeah,
probably even still going through it. So
yeah,
it's a thing to be grateful and thankful for. And
yeah,
also thank your mom for raising this
yeah,
amazing guy that she raised. Thank you, mommy.
yeah.
Thank
She's
you so
crazy.
much. So
Yeah.
this is what we will do to wrap up this episode.
Okay.
By the time we come back, we will enter the next segment of this podcast. Thank
Yeah.
you,
You're
Precious.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Welcome back. So, in the earlier segment, we explored Precious' personal life, and now it's not every time you get to have a LinkedIn expert here. And so that he will not charge you on this episode, this one is Inspired Impressions. I think we should go a little bit professional, right? So, Precious, again, welcome. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Right.
so
So,
much.
my question now is,
Yeah.
what does it take to succeed on LinkedIn? I mean, that's what you are. You did say that in your story earlier on that
Okay.
your platform right now is LinkedIn,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's a gold mine. Many
yeah,
people are now starting to come on LinkedIn more. In
yeah.
fact, I didn't even say this earlier. I did say I was going to say when I said that one conversation with Precious changed my life. I never really, I opened LinkedIn, I think since 2017, and I never really did anything there until one time we went to charge phone, there was no light, and
Yeah, I
then
still remember that day.
exactly, we met at VLC, and he was like,
Yeah.
he's into me. He was very humble about it. So he said, no, I just they do one or two LinkedIn like that. Me, I don't know that this one was LinkedIn chairman, you know, and then after the conversation, he was kind enough to help me with my branding and all of that. And I tell you, Inside Impressions, I was on 50 followers, and as you're talking to me, I'm on 4,200 followers. I'm telling and this is in the space of 4 months or so.
That's crazy.
Right,
That's
honestly.
crazy.
So I have Precious to thank for that.
Yeah.
And I'm not even just saying this because of followers. Remember earlier he said one thing on LinkedIn is you can have the likes, you can have the comments, and still not have leads or engagement or
Your bank
cash or
account will
for
be
yeah,
red.
exactly, your bank account will be red. But that's not
Yeah.
my case,
Yeah.
right? LinkedIn, growing my LinkedIn account and my LinkedIn profile in this space of time has really helped me both personally and professionally in my career. It has given me a lot. My first international guest on Spotify on Inspired Impressions came from LinkedIn, and I have Precious to thank for it. Right. So me,
That's
I've
amazing.
had my own master class from him personally, and I want him to give us our own small master class. He will not give you all the gist so that you can find him and you pay for his services. You heard his process. He did a lot to come here and not to just give it to you for free. So tell us about LinkedIn and what it takes to succeed in LinkedIn.
Okay, that's a brilliant one. First off, I'm going to congratulate you on
Thank
your 40th followers.
you. Thank
It's a
you.
lot, because this whole linking of a thing, right? When I first started, right, ideally the platform was meant to, be a platform between recruiters and job
Job
seekers. So you
seekers.
basically come in, you
Yeah.
drop your CV, your resume, right? And then the recruiters will find you and all those stuff you get.
Yeah.
So there was nothing like personal branding per se. There
Mm-hmm.
was nothing like building your business brand. Everybody back then were just more about leveraging the platform for job
Get
opportunities.
job
So
opportunities.
that was what I came for, right? Remember I told you
Yes.
that they told me LinkedIn was a gold mine. So
Yeah.
as a gold digger, I came to mine the gold. Right? So that was just it. So the what it takes to be successful on LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that you understand how the platform works. I
Mm-hmm.
used to tell people this. It's more like a marketing term, right? If you're looking for if you want to attract your audience, you need to go to where your audience are congregated.
Yeah.
A very simple analogy is this, right? Imagine a fisherman scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are looking to catch fish, right? And then you go to the sea where fishes are congregated. You go
Yes.
there with your fishing rod and you go there with a bait, right?
Yes.
Then you put it into the sea, and obviously it's going to attract those people. So
Yes.
I feel if you have a business that deals a lot with the corporate society,
Mm-hmm.
then LinkedIn is your go-to platform,
Mm-hmm.
right? LinkedIn is not a platform for musicians and singers, all those dancers. We have platforms like TikTok
Yes.
and
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Instagram that does
Mm-hmm.
that, right? But as long as corporate society is involved and all that,
Yeah.
right, LinkedIn is the platform.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that kind of business, right, then you should start building your personal brand on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
So these are a couple of things I feel will help you,
Mm-hmm.
especially for those who are coming in from scratch. Now, I came on LinkedIn as a student, right? I was a schoolboy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's to say that I didn't have any like experience per se. I didn't have any like very very big certifications and all that stuff. You get
Yes.
all I had were just my my thoughts,
Mm.
right? I just wanted to come on LinkedIn and find money, mind good and all
Right.
that, right?
Yeah.
So I started creating content, right? Because yes, they told us you need to create content to stay relevant, right? You need to
Yes.
create content to stay relevant. You need to create
Yes.
content so that people can find you and
Yeah.
see you as someone worth working with,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I started doing all those things, right? And as at then, I was creating content of about myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that
Mm-hmm.
was a big problem I made, right? Which I feel a lot of people are making right now. They
Yes.
feel like your personal brand is all about you, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel if you're coming on the platform for opportunities, you need to
Mm.
make it about the people you're called to serve, right?
Mm.
I used to say this, right? You need to ensure that your LinkedIn is 80% about your audience and 20% about you. Now, what that simply means is that you should come on LinkedIn as a problem solver, right? You have like, an audience that have issues, they have problems. So you're coming in to provide solutions, not just as a job seeker, or in
Mm-hmm.
other words, I would say a geek hunter, right?
Right.
You get
Yes.
so that's the whole concept, right? So once you're coming on the platform, just know that you're going to give so much, right?
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that people can trust you and
Mm-hmm.
see you as a valuable resource so they can do
Yes.
business with.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, right, the stat has it that we have about 1 billion people on LinkedIn,
Wow.
right? Yeah. I think that was
That's a lot.
as of January 2025, right?
Wow.
Over 1 billion people, right? But a few of them are active on the platform, and that
Yeah.
that is to say that you can have a good number of people who are
Mm-hmm.
doing exactly what you're
You're
doing,
doing.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole competition is large. So you think to yourself, how can I stand out? How can I
Mm-hmm.
be different,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because yes, we're all looking for opportunities on the
Mm-hmm.
platform,
Mm-hmm.
right? So one of the first things that you need to do is to get clear on three things. I usually call this the clarity of purpose, right?
Mm.
You getting clear on who you are, who you
Yes.
help, and how you help them, right? In
Mm.
the sense that you need to discover your purpose. What are you called for on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
right? Are you coming to, build thought leadership? Are you coming for client acquisition? Are you coming to connect with your peers? Whatever it is, you need to get that very clear,
Yeah.
because trust me, clarity helps a lot with your growth process, right? If you're just doing things without knowing what you're doing, you'll just be moving around. You're
Yeah.
not going to get any results. So clarity of purpose, knowing who you are,
Mm-hmm.
knowing who you help, right? More
Yeah.
like cities yourself. Who are my target audience? Who are
Mm-hmm.
the people I'm looking to help on this platform,
Mm-hmm.
right? So once you understand those guys, you understand their problems,
Mm.
you understand the solutions that you're providing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this is based on the context of those who are coming to leverage LinkedIn to make full cash from LinkedIn. You
Mm.
get
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So, and thirdly, you need to know how you can help them. That's more like saying you need to be able to communicate your value in such a way that once those people come on board and they see your profile, they get to know that this is the person who has been called to help me. Do you get?
Yeah.
So now this cuts across you working on several parts of your profile, like the profile optimization,
Mm-hmm.
your profile picture. Just remember the first time we had the conversation, I was like,
Yes.
you need to work on your profile.
Exactly.
Like you need to make it about you trying to help people and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
a couple of tweaks that you need to make, it can be your profile picture
Mm-hmm.
with professional. Obviously, LinkedIn is a professional platform,
Yeah.
so you cannot just use a selfie kind
Selfie.
of picture or my signature move.
I
You
know.
get
I
and
see
putting
a
your
lot of
profile.
that.
I
Yeah.
used to tell people that, right, social media is all about perception, right?
Mm.
If you want to be seen as a professional, you need to look like a professional,
Very
right?
true.
And trust me, nobody wants to do business with a newbie, right? So
Mm.
even though you are a newbie, you need to look like a newbie. I think in most businesses we call it packaging,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yes.
that's just
Yes.
the idea.
Yeah.
You need to package well, right?
Mm.
And by saying packaging, right, ensure that you have very good pictures, right? If
Mm.
you look at most of the top faves on LinkedIn, right, you'd see they have very good profile pictures, right? Straight up good lighting, right? Then if
Mm-hmm.
you look come to their visuals, their banners, their featured sections, right? They put out quality stuff because they want to be perceived as a premium brand,
Mm-hmm.
right? They
Yeah.
want to stand out from their peers. They don't
Mm-hmm.
just want to look like every other shabby kind of person. You get?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that is just the idea. And also for those who are coming up on LinkedIn, right? You need to understand that you're coming to build a personal brand on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
So I want us to, like, disregard that misconception that we had that LinkedIn is more about the recruiters and all that stuff, right? I
Yes.
want you to see it as a different ball game. More like, you come in, you build your personal brand, you share your stories, you motivate your audience. In
Mm.
fact, I feel one of the biggest things that I have gotten so much from the platform, aside the plenty dollars,
I like that you added that.
you get,
Yes.
is it's people, right? The
Mm.
connections that I have met.
Yeah.
It has occurred to me that I have met people who ideally in real life I wouldn't have
Mm.
stand a chance to meet them. But because I had this personal brand on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
we've had conversations, we've
Yes.
collaborated. Do
Mm-hmm.
you understand? So
Mm-hmm.
it's so amazing whereby
Mm-hmm.
me, a common man, right, is conversing with a CEO, a top CEO, and
Mm-hmm.
that CEO is not addressing me as sir.
Oh my
You get, my
God.
head is just exploding like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Right, right.
Say this guy
On
from
to
the
boss
trenches.
level.
So it's
Yes.
it's really amazing, right? Because you're meeting amazing people,
Mm-hmm.
and also people who will support you, right?
Yeah.
One of the outstanding thing about LinkedIn is that, right, you will find people who will support you like everywhere. Like they don't need to know you, like total strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much as the fact that you're coming in and you're being authentic, you're sharing your
Yes.
authentic voice on the
Yeah.
platform. You'll see they will support you to the very end. All right.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not gotten from the context of the
No,
question
you
though.
are. You're still on track. This
All
is a
right.
master class. I wish I had my biro and my paper. I'm supposed to be jotting, but then thank God it's recorded, so I can always listen to it.
All right. So yeah, so the people you meet. So when you come on the platform, I want you to be very open-minded, right?
Mm,
Try as much as possible to make friends,
yeah.
right? Do not see the platform as a professional platform, even though it is a professional platform. But
Yeah.
try as much as possible to be a bit casual with people. Try and make
Mm,
connections, because trust me, those are the people who will mention your name in rooms that you will, in your wildest dream, you wouldn't have even been on it, right?
yes.
You
Yes.
know, and I've seen a lot of success stories on the platform. One of the things that really held me down when I started initially were people's success stories. Right, that situation where you come on board and the whole popular. I'm happy to announce that I got this gig. Yet I'm happy
Yes.
to announce
So
that I just closed a $10K
yes.
deal,
So I'm happy
and
to announce. I'm
look at
thrilled.
yourself. Yeah, look at yourself and you ask yourself, am I a spoon? Like, why? When will my own happy to
Oh
announce
gosh,
come?
please don't expose me outside.
So I it got to a point where I was like, oh
Mhm.
no, this is very overwhelming, right?
Mhm.
Everybody is winning except me,
Mm.
right? So I now took it from a different perspective. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm going to use these people's success story as an avenue to show myself that
Mhm.
it is possible, right? If someone out there is making this level of success, it simply
Yeah.
means that I too can achieve something like this too.
Oh
You
yes.
get?
Mhm.
So I use their stories as an encouragement, right,
Mm.
to push myself, right? Because there was this guy, like I said in the previous time we were having conversation, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
told you that he was also an engineering student in
Yeah.
America. So
Yeah.
I saw what he was doing, and
Mm.
I saw that he was getting so many endorsements from companies.
Mhm.
He even got to a point where Hawaii had to like bring
Mm-hmm.
him, take him to China, literally,
Mm.
because of his profile. So I was like, oh no, this is going to be me in the next few years. So I just
Mm.
had to keep on grinding. And I
Yeah.
use those success stories as something that will elevate me. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what I want you to understand. You're
Yeah.
going to get intimidated, literally. In
Hmm.
fact, hmm,
Mm.
a
I'm
lot of
intimidated by him. Oh. Our follower count is like this. It's just that he's my boss, so everything goes
anyways.
soft.
So a lot of people out there will show off their their wins. It's not
Mm.
like they're trying to intimidate you.
Yeah.
They're just really excited about how far they've come.
They've
And I want you to
come.
look at it from that perspective. And one thing that I also want us to take note of is that comparison is what's going to kill you a lot. I
Mm.
mean, you cannot
Mm.
literally compare somebody else's day 1000 to your day
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
expect to get the same level of results.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Mm.
So, that's to say that that particular person must have gone through series of setbacks before he got to the point he or she is at the point in time.
Oh
You
yes.
understand? So you
Mm-hmm.
understand that your own period of trials and tribulation
Mm-hmm.
is just starting. So
Yes.
you need to stick to that process. A friend will always say, enjoy the process. Enjoy
Yes.
the process. And
Yes.
that's what exactly helped me.
Mm-hmm.
You get so I kept on creating content, connecting with people, collaborating, and one of the things that a lot of people really love so much is when you come out clean,
Mm.
right? You tell your stories, right? I know
Mm-hmm.
most people would say that, trying to tell other stories, they have this insecurity and all
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I had that insecurity too,
Yeah.
but I thought to myself, I am not just telling the story from a point of being the victim. Rather, I
Mm.
am telling the story as an avenue for me to inspire my audience. I
Yes.
look back at other people who I think I am one step ahead of,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, okay, I have this experience, I have these stories that has helped me so
Mm-hmm.
far. I feel like if I tell it to people, it resonates with them and gives them a clear picture of what can become their possibilities.
Yeah.
You understand? So
Yeah.
that's just the whole concept. So I want you to think about that too. If you're telling your story, don't just think about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the people who you're inspiring,
Mm-hmm.
right? Think about the people who you're motivating.
Yeah.
Because at some point, there are a couple of people out there who they are at their worst part, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they are
Mm-hmm.
literally, thinking to themselves, right? Is it the end of life? Can I actually make progress and all that stuff? But when they look at you and they see that at some point where you were growing, your situation was even worse than theirs,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's going to give them that courage to keep on pushing. Do you
Yeah.
get? So that is just it. All right. So I think I've said a lot of things. So
This
I've
has
said a
moved
lot of
from a
things so
master
much.
class to a master message. But it's all good.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, everything you have said is very, very profound.
yeah,
One particular thing for me is the part where you talked about comparison.
yeah,
It's something that's unconsciously can happen to
yeah,
us.
yeah.
But I
True.
remember one time I did an episode on Inspired Impressions
Yeah,
where it was just life learning, and
yeah,
then I was like, we should learn to replace our comparisons with references. So
yeah,
as opposed to comparing people, use people as references,
yeah,
where you don't say, I want to be like this person, or I want to be better than this person is. What is this person doing that I can do to
yeah.
achieve this
Exactly.
result or
Yeah,
to even be better? And it speaks to what you did with Emmanuel Unduka,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and many other things you've been saying. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You
You're
said a
welcome.
lot. Like, I have to listen to this message, this preaching, this episode, everything. And he's not just talking, I know that we didn't talk about his professional life. So let's just talk about that in a
Okay,
way.
okay,
Like,
okay,
what's your brand?
okay.
I know that last I checked, we were on 42K followers. We were celebrating. I'm thrilled to announce to you that he has 43 on and counting. Precious followers need to increase by thousands every week. Is it all weekly? So, what's your brand? And he was
Okay.
telling me a story before we started this recording about how the name Precious Touch came about. So, just give
Yeah.
us a bit of that as we wrap up the episode.
Okay, so about the precious touch, right? So
Yes.
first off, who am I professionally? I am a digital marketing strategist. I am also the founder of The Precious Touch. So The Precious Touch is more like a digital marketing agency, a
Yes.
digital and branding marketing agency,
Okay.
right? So what we do is that we help founders and top business owners build a globally recognized brand on LinkedIn. So
Okay.
that's to say that we've done it before for ourselves and now we're doing
Mm.
it for other people,
Huh.
right? So that's just
Oh my
basically
God, what a way to present.
so yeah, the whole concept of the precious touch,
Yeah.
when people ask me why the precious touch, right? Most people will come across my brand for the first time and they
Mhm.
be like, precious touch. Ah, that's unique. Oh.
I
You get,
know.
is it that the touch is precious? Obviously, the
Exactly.
touch is precious.
Obviously, yes.
You see, so no, and what actually happened was that
Yeah.
one of my friends, one of a friend of mine, I
Mhm.
did something for her, right? I can't really recall exactly,
Yeah.
but I helped her at some point, and she, made this post and she was like, "Hi guys, I finally got the precious touch."
Wow.
And that was the first time that idea came into my mind. How
Mhm.
about I just call myself the precious touch?
Oh my
You get?
God.
So that's how it started. You get? So
Yeah.
it's always about trying to, trying to, whatever I do, right, for clients or whatever I do for myself, I'm trying
Mhm.
to ensure that I give them a very unique experience,
Mm.
right? Something that, would not just help them, but give them this better perception, help their
Yeah.
brands a lot. You get? The
Mhm.
whole experience is kind of like precious and all
Mhm.
that. You
Mhm.
get?
Mm.
So that's how it all started. You
Mm.
get? So we actually specialize in multiple things. We help people with optimization. We help people with management, portfolio, engine management, right? And recently we upscaled to not just leveraging LinkedIn alone, but also leveraging other social media platforms like Instagram and
Wow.
YouTube.
Wow. Wow.
So we
Wow.
have a new team members who are actually helping out with that, right? Because I work with people, right?
Mhm.
So that's the whole concept around the precious touch. So yeah.
I've been begging this my boss to employ me, but he said no. You don't wanna do mentorship for me. Okay, you are my mentor. I employ me. Let our mentorship convert to cash.
I cannot afford you now.
Please, please. I'm not expensive. Oh
Yeah,
my god, but this
so
is good to
yeah,
know.
yeah, that's
Wow.
just it, yeah.
This has already answered the question I wanted to ask at the end of the episode, but
Okay,
I think I'll still ask it.
okay,
But before that question, I want to ask, how do we get across to you? I know your LinkedIn people would watch this and they already
okay,
know, but
yeah.
then for people on Inspired Impressions and all over the world that will watch this, how can they book your service? How can they
Okay.
reach out to you and all of
So
that?
so if you check out my profile, the name is Precious Obio Bades.
Yes! Like your parents are they have already set the table for you with your name or your surname.
uh, so yeah, the name is Precious to go, and
Yeah,
if you go on LinkedIn, you search Precious to go, you
yeah.
see a guy with a nice smile and
Mm,
a green picture and
mm.
all that. So if you want to reach me, right, my profile is more like a landing page, right? Like
Yeah.
there are so many places that you go to that you find what I do. So it just depends on what you want to do, right?
Okay.
Whether you want to book a consultation call with me, or you want to involve me with your team, or you want me to train your corporate business and all that stuff, right? You can send me a DM or probably you can book a consultation. There's always a link in my link in bio or my featured section that you can go click there, right? So it's very easy to reach me, right? So, but for most people who are very close, and you can always come to you.
He always answers me like I see. I didn't even know that they used to book consultation because whenever I drop him a message, he answers me. I think it's really an honor. Thank you
Yeah,
for always
you're
doing
welcome.
that.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Wow. Oh, okay. So at least I'm going to drop the link to his profile in the description so that from this video you can just go and head straight for his profile and all of that.
Yeah.
And one final question, not to wrap up the episode, but to wrap up
Okay.
this session,
Okay.
is what do we expect from you? What next? Because I mean, you did mention that you are an engineering student, so
Yeah.
soon to be engineer. Are we
Yeah.
expecting a shift in your career or an expansion? What do we expect
Okay.
in the next half decade or in the next 2 years, in the next 10 years? What to expect?
Well, my answer might be not what you expect.
Abego, abego, abego.
So you see, right?
Yes.
At some point when I was in my 200 level, right, my
Yeah.
whole passion for engineering died
Mm,
because of the whole school system we have in
yes.
Nigeria
Yes.
and all
Yeah.
that. So at this point, I don't know. Maybe God might change my heart, right?
Hmm.
Because even the engineering, right, I have good grades, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I might decide to want to go into engineering, but I have never for once seen myself work in an office or work for
Mm,
someone, right?
mm.
I'm always this kind of
Building the offices for people, but never working
exactly.
inside.
You see, but so I never want to like work for someone anymore. You get? I
Mm,
just feel like me owning my own business is the life, right? I
yes.
have all the time for myself. I am giving value and it is all around, all about me. It's not like I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving value for someone else. You
Yeah.
get? I'm not building someone else's dream.
Mm.
Do you get?
Mm-hmm.
So this whole professional work, well, I'd say we'll just leave it to God.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally,
Yeah.
where I intend to see myself in the next 10 years is I intend to see myself as a global voice,
Wow.
right? Touching so many international boundaries. Although we've already started doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have worked with people in the UK, I've worked with people in the US, I've worked with
Mm-hmm.
people in Canada, right? So many countries out there,
Mm.
right? But when it comes to global, or global, coverage and all that, I mean,
Yeah.
traveling to other countries,
Yes.
exploring the world, doing businesses in other countries. That situation where you sip wine
Oh
with a
my
CEO in
God.
Dubai, you
Right.
get,
Soft life.
yeah, the soft life of a Greek,
You
you
don't have
get,
to suffer. You've earned the right to have that
yeah,
kind of life.
you get. So that's what I picture myself, and
Yeah.
the only avenue that can actually take me there, that I see it's feasible, is
Mm.
my personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
You get? Because it has done that for so many people,
Mm-hmm.
not as an engineer, right,
Oh.
but as a personal someone who is into digital marketing and all that. My business is just basically it. So that's just it for me. But maybe who knows, in future, maybe God can just tell me, Precious, it's like you just focus on this engineering, or let's say this engineering now it's bringing in like 50K dollars. Yes, I'm all about the
Oh,
money,
it's
man. I love
possible.
money.
Though. I'm telling you. I can imagine engineering students now.
Yeah, yeah,
No shade to you, but then
yeah.
they'll be singing this. Who dig this piece go for it?
If you think about it, right? If you think about it, like I
Yeah.
have a lot of my seniors out there
Mm-hmm.
who
Mm.
graduated as an engineer, but you check it out, what they're doing now
Mm-hmm.
is not engineering, very different,
Oh yeah.
right?
Mm.
You can see someone who was doing engineering before, but now is an entrepreneur, right?
Mm.
You get? So
Mm-hmm.
the whole
Mm.
idea is that you just need to look out for what is working, because
Yes.
we're all looking to survive,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel if you're looking to survive, you need to do something that is worth doing,
Mm-hmm.
considering the kind of environment we find ourselves
Oh
in.
yeah.
Nigeria is really messed up, right?
Mm.
There was this video I saw recently, the how I was doing a job trade fair,
Mm.
right? You needed to see the amount of people that piled up there just to get interviewed or something. That
Mm.
is to show you the level of joblessness that's in the country, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
really crazy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for most of us who are still in school and we haven't graduated, we haven't even got into the workspace or the work market yet.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen what it is, right? So you know that what can actually help you and save you is a skill,
Yeah.
right? And your business,
Mm-hmm.
not literally your certificate anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has changed,
Yeah.
right? The world has become, digitalized. What was happening initially, in our father's days, right?
Mm.
They'll tell you go to school, get good grades, then you get a job and
Mm-hmm.
live comfortably. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's not that way anymore. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at most of the top guys, those people like Bill Gates, all those guys, it's not
Mm-hmm.
literally education that took them there,
Yeah.
right? It is their skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So that is because to the young people, I would say that skill set is very, very important.
Oh yeah.
And the best part of it was that I didn't wait until I was done with university before I started doing these things,
Absolutely.
right? I felt that, okay, university cannot limit me, although I was still serious with education, although
Mm-hmm.
I dropped down,
Mm-hmm.
because my mom will always say you cannot serve two masters at the
At the
same
same
time.
time.
But I actually found a way, I found a way that I could actually merge them together,
Yeah.
right? But obviously one of them will be higher
Than the
than the
other
other, you get.
priority.
But it all depends on what you're looking to achieve,
Yeah.
right? But for some people, I'd say maybe they have this passion for education.
Mm-hmm.
Education is also very relevant. I wouldn't always be amongst the people who say school na scam.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I feel at some point education gives you this leverage,
Mm-hmm.
right? You get exposed,
Mm.
right?
True.
And some people, because of education,
Mm-hmm.
right, it has taken them outside Nigeria,
Oh yeah.
right? It's not like literally like them going to work based on their certificate, but it has
Yeah.
given them this opportunity, this exposure to many entities that
Mm-hmm.
has helped them so far in the
Mm-hmm.
journey. So I would say that you can take your university life and your education seriously,
Mm-hmm.
but still take your skill set seriously, right? And
Absolutely.
that's just it, right? So
Wow. Wow, this is a very wholesome message that you have given. I mean, I
yeah,
like how balanced it was.
yeah,
And to everybody watching this, whether you're a student or not,
yeah,
what Precious has said is you need to learn to be skillful. It's all about value. If it's
Yeah.
education, find the problems to solve in education. And if it's career, whatever it is that you're doing, remember how he said that he didn't stop, he still pushed in spite of everything. And your father, your mother, nobody has to die for you to make it, right?
Yeah.
Precious has done it, he has told you his story. So, what I need you to do now is to
Yeah.
think about how to change your life. He said that if you don't change, nothing is going to change. So don't wait for life to change the playing field for you, right?
Nobody is coming to save
Exactly.
you.
Nobody's coming to save you. So start changing your things. Start changing your life from
Yeah.
now and take
Yeah.
the initiative from all of what he has said.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. I feel like we should have like a part two. What do you think?
Well,
Because
we can for it
genuinely
though.
speaking, I have some questions. Some of my friends have asked me these questions and
Okay.
then I couldn't ask you, but I'm not going to ask you now. What
Okay.
I'm going to do is I'm going to bait them into going to the comment section. Because I
Okay.
always tell these people, comment, drop your comments, like,
Yeah.
subscribe, they won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I've come for you. All of your comments, your
Yeah.
likes will determine if I bring Precious again. Based on the fact that he's my mentor now, so I know I can just quickly book him.
uh,
And you know how important he is. Like if you go to his profile, you see what I'm talking about. It's not beans to have somebody like this on this episode. Nonetheless,
it's an honor though.
it's really an honor to have you here.
Same
And
here.
family, those that are going to be watching this video for the first time, watching this
Yeah.
right impression for the first time,
Yeah.
please don't forget to like, to share, to
Yeah.
comment, and to subscribe to this channel.
Yeah.
Okay. One final question. So on all Inspired Impressions, we always do this, and usually would ask you what your favorite episode on Inspired Impression is. But I have another question for you. Don't worry. Don't worry. I got your back.
I feel like this is settled.
Trust me.
Now set me
Me
up.
and you now. I have your back. So that's not the question I'm going
Yeah.
to ask
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
The question I'm going to ask you is to close this whole episode and all of that. If you're going to have a podcast, what are you going to title it? Don't say Precious Voice.
Eh?
Don't
The
even
precious touch episode.
No, you have to
Ah.
come up with something
Oh
else.
wow. Wow.
Don't
Wow.
use your name as an escape for
No.
everything. Having it easy.
But what I'm going to say is very generic though. But I
Yeah.
would say the right path to success is. Let's just put it that way. The right path to success.
That's the name of your podcast.
I really don't have
You
it.
do
Like-
personal branding, and I don't say you should give me the name of podcast.
No,
You
know,
not
it
give me
depends.
that kind of long name.
Yeah, it depends on the context that you get.
Yes.
It depends on the context, right? So I would say how to become a good digger on LinkedIn.
Please, the name of this podcast is Go Diggers. the Go Diggers podcast. Watch out in the next 5 years. We are going to see it.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just stressful. Make it sound sweet. It's the Go Diggers podcast.
Yeah.
Featured by the one and only founder of Precious Touch.
Yeah.
Precious OBO. Baddest.
OBO, baddest.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome,
coming
you're
to
welcome,
Inspired
yeah.
Impressions. It's really
Yeah.
an honor to have you, and
Yeah.
it was really a great episode. We hope to see you in the nearest future again.
Definitely.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Bye, guys.